Hi, this is Guy Wallace. I started in learning and development way back in 1979, and I semi-retired in 2023. But my current mission as a semi-retired L&D professional is to help enterprise learning and development organizations become more performance-based. Welcome to my podcast. This episode is about my facilitated group process. I use this when meeting with clients in formal project steering team gate review meetings. And if possible, I use this when I'm conducting analysis with a team, or when I'm doing design with a team, or when I'm conducting the development team kickoff meetings. I also use this when I'm conducting pilot test activities such as daily debriefings. This all started back in 1979 in one of my first projects in the learning and development profession. I was to create a video script with a handful of window manufacturing companies. I conducted many interviews with them and then wrote up a script and sent it to them for their review. They sent me back edits. I updated the script and sent it out for their review. This went on through 7 cycles. I got so frustrated with the whole process that I walked into my boss's office and said, "I'm done. I'm not going to update this script one more time." He said, "Well, what's the problem?" And I told him. He said, "What's the solution?" And I said, "Well, I think we need to bring everybody together and put them in our conference room and let me facilitate them through the finalization of this video script." He agreed with that, but our law department was concerned, as well as the window manufacturers were concerned, that by getting together in one room, that the Department of Justice might think that they were collaborating and price setting or something ridiculous like that. So we were forced to record the 2-day meeting and do a transcript of it and share it back with all of the manufacturers. Each of my customers had been pulling the script in a different way, and what I had told my boss's boss was that I was editing in things that had been edited out, as each one of these window manufacturers was trying to put in their favorite marketing slogans into my script. Now, the whole thing was a very painful process, but it shortened the cycle time so much that I decided that's how I wanted to do business going forward. I've been using this facilitated team approach on maybe 75% of my projects, which numbers over 250, since 1979. When I became a consultant back in 1982, my firm named this approach the group process, and it was referred to in 2 articles that we published back in 1984 in Training Magazine and in NSPI's Performance and Instruction Journal. Later, I changed the name to the Facilitated Group Process. I have 12 guidelines for proactive facilitation that I've taught others to use when teaching them about my PAC processes for performance-based instruction, analysis methods, and design methods. The 12 are: 1. Go slow to go fast. 2. Be declarative. 3. Write stuff and post it. 4. Be redundant by design. 5. Use the 4 key communication behavior types. 6. Reviews and previews. 7. Write it down and then discuss it. 8. Use humor. 9. Control the process and the participants. 10. Be legible on the flip charts. 11. Beware of groupthink. 12. Assign parking lot valets. Let me spend a little bit of time on each one of these. So, number 1, go slow to go fast. Yes, we need to slow down when we're meeting with groups of people. We need to check that everyone is tracking with what we're doing, what's been said, what we've agreed to. I use a process called face polling, where I tell the group, I'm looking into your faces and I'm looking for agreement or disagreement. So nod your heads up and down or sideways, and if you're really not sure, then nod your head diagonally. Well, that usually gets a laugh. Be declarative, number 2. Well, you need to say what needs to be said and declare your transitions. We're now going to go do such and such. Okay, we're wrapping this up, or whatever needs to be said. Be declarative to the group. If you're facilitating a group, you're leading a group, and they need to take their cues and clues from you. Number 3, write stuff and post it. Don't just stand there nodding your head. Capture what others are saying, write it down, and then post it in a manner so that it's visible to everyone. Number 4 is be redundant by design. While that can be annoying for those who get it the first time, it's necessary sometimes to make sure that everybody got it, that everybody's tracking, that we're all on the same page. Number 5, use the 4 key communications behavior types. Now, I learned these from Neil Rackham of Huthwaite from his spin selling course and his win-win negotiations course. This was back in 1981, before the spin selling book came out, but it's based on what they used, how they approached developing the skills for spin selling and for win-win negotiation. The first of those 4 key communications behaviors is giving information. That's pretty straightforward. The second one is seeking information. That too is pretty straightforward. It's asking questions. Number 3 is a combination of 2 of the Huthwaite behaviors, and it is testing understanding / summarizing. The fourth one is again another combination, and 2 of their behaviors were defend and another one was attack. And they taught how to end a defend-attack spiral. Well, the best way to end a defend and attack spiral is by seeking information from the 2 parties or one of the parties, or testing, understanding, and summarizing as a way to interject into the spiral and to slow it down or to stop it. The 6th of my facilitator guidelines is use reviews and previews. At the start of every day, I review what we've done so far, and then I preview what we're going to go do next. I do that at the end of the day as well. For each agenda item, when we're transitioning from one topic or task to the next, I also use reviews and previews. Number 7, write it down and then discuss it. Now, this is kind of me being redundant by design because earlier I had said, write stuff and post it. Yeah, write it down and then discuss it and capture all of the questions, comments, and concerns people might have. Point number 8, use humor, but only if you're good at it, because not everybody is. And make sure that if there's a butt of the joke, that it's you, the facilitator, and not somebody else in the room or some other group. Don't do that. Number 9, control the process and participants. If your role is to facilitate a group of people, you need to stay on track. You need to keep the group on track. Otherwise, you are allowing somebody or something to waste the time of the people in the room. Number 10, be legible on the flip chart. Legibility counts. Neatness does not. Number 11, beware of groupthink. If there's a dominant person or somebody who's reviewed by others to be the master of all master performers or something like that, it's too easy for the group to just fall in line and agree with them. As a facilitator, I would tell people, well, that I'm worried about that. I'd be declarative that I'm worried about that, and that I would ask people for contrarian views. Not wanting to put anybody in the hot seat themselves, but what are some of the critiques that others might have? Not what they themselves might say, even though they might want to say it. So you've got to beware of groupthink, and as a facilitator, you need to stop the process if that's what's going on. Point number 12. Here we are at the end. Assign parking lot valets. Now I use 2 types of parking lots, open issues and closed issues, so that I can visibly write things down on a post-it note, go put it over on the open issues, and if and when we resolve it, I move it over to the closed parking lot, so people can visibly see that we're closing out some of these open issues. Guy might have deferred them till later because he didn't want to handle them right then and there, if he knew that logically we would come up to them again at some other point in the process. So when I got trapped into running back and forth to take everybody's issues and post them, I decided that I would nominate everybody in the room to be their own valet, that I wouldn't be their valet, and if they had an issue, they should get up, go write it on a Post-it note, and put it over on the open slot, and turn around to the group and read it to us so we would all understand what their issue was. And if we could resolve it quickly right there in the moment, we would. But if it was something that I thought we would be handling later, more logically in the work stream ahead of us, then I would defer it. And at the end of the meeting, if there were any open issues that hadn't been resolved, I would be able to take those back to my client and say, these are the open issues that need to be resolved. I hope this has been helpful. You can read more about this in many of my books, and I've written articles about this on my blog site, so please check into it if you'd like any more information. Thank you.